I've been stuck in a 3-hour traffic jam on the M62, so I've had to turn round, basically come back to where I live and come the Humber Bridge way. I was going to do it the A1 way today, but anyway, shouldn't moan about it because someone's day is obviously a lot worse than mine is, and I hope everyone was okay, but I must admit it didn't look good. So we're finally en route. We're about half an hour up off the lake, and we'll see what this week brings us. So what I'm thinking for this trip is either the swim I'm in now or the swim that you can see opposite me on that pylon there. Now, on my last visit, this area of water, there was quite a few shows on the evening, so I'm kind of targeting here. I know things can change, but until I see something to make me do any different, I'm going to probably go in here. I've got the wind behind me, which doesn't bother the fish on this lake, in my opinion. So I do have the advantage of good casting distances if the fish are showing long. Don't really expect to see anything till the light starts to fade, which is that time of year. You know, at the moment, that's when we're likely to see one, if we're going to see one. And I can see if I can hit them with singles. I think that's going to be the plan. But before I do anything else, I just want to have a look onto that margin. Just want to have a walk down that margin and just have a good look with my Polaroids on, just in case there's something to see. You never know. It's always worth spending 5 or 10 minutes, because there are some spots on there and I've seen them in it before. So I'll do that, and if I've got nothing else to go on, we'll get some baits out here and just keep watching the lake. Okay, I hadn't seen a fish yet, which is not good, but there's still plenty of time left, about 3/4 of an hour of light. So I'm going to pop a rig onto a shallower area, just to the left hand side of this pylon you can see in the distance. That's bang on the money, is that one? Let's see if there's any money to be had. Well, in between the downpours, I got the rods out. Happy with my spots for the time being, and yeah, like I said before, until I see something, I can't really do a lot else, and I don't expect to see a fish roll till the turn of dark. Like I said before, that's when they became active last week, so we'll just chill out for a bit now, have a cup of coffee, have something to eat. What have we got? Maybe 3 or 4 hours before the sun starts to go down now, so we'll just chill out and enjoy the scenery. Right, the last little bit of light now, and I've seen fizzing, which is good, but I've not seen a fish. And as you can see, the lake is flat calm, so I really hoped I'd seen one, but that doesn't mean that fish aren't here. It just means they're not showing. Bit of a change of plan. Yeah, like I said before, I didn't see anything in my swim, and I was sat having a coffee about an hour into dark, and I heard something down to my right, about 200 yards down the bank. It sounded substantial, so I took a wander down, and yeah, there's some fish in this corner. I'm really surprised. I've never seen them in here, certainly not this time of year.
but I've had 3 or 4 shows while I was stood there. So I went back to my swim, I up sticks, and I've moved down here. Now I've just put 2 rods out, just cast 2 little PVA bags across to the fish, and they're still showing, which is a really good sign on here. I've seen two rolls since I've put my rods out, which means, oh, that was a fish as well. You might not have heard that, but that were a fish. That was down to the right hand side. There's some fish down here. Yeah, so I put my baits out, 2 little PVA bags, and I've seen 3 shows now since I've done that. So that's an indication that I haven't spooked the fish. Yeah, this could get serious now. We could be very close to nailing one. Very close.
Well, I continued to get liners, and then it just started raining and it's just stopped. And when the rain came, everything went quiet. So today's the day I'm not getting a girton fish. Yeah, Anthony closed the fishery last night. Yeah, the River Trent's close to bursting its bank, and for safety reasons, you know, he's asked if we can get off. So yeah. So yeah, the Easter break's over and I've not had a fish. If you look into the positives of it, you know, my first visit I was kind of close to a bite and I found them, certainly was in range of them. Last night, you know, you saw on that night camp, yeah, I was pretty close to a bite. I was sitting on my hands. I really did think one was going to go. In hindsight, probably should have fished zigs, if I'm honest, looking back, evaluating it, you know, but it is what it is, you know, as long as you kind of, what I've always said, you know, in the spectrum of carp fishing is, it's like, if things don't go right, if you get a blank or you have a lean period, as long as you're learning from it and you're understanding why these things are happening and why you're not being successful, then I always think at the end of it you're going to come out a better angler. And I've been fishing long enough now to know that, you know, it's not all glory and it's not all, oh yeah, I'm going to have one, you know, especially fishing a place like that. You know, there's people on there done 70 nights without a fish. I've done 5 this year and I've got pretty, in my opinion, as close as you're going to get to one. I was, like I say, I was really confident last night. So yeah, it is what it is. So I've come down to my fishery now just to do an overnighter. And then I'm getting back to work now. I'll get my work head on again. So yeah, I've enjoyed it, but I haven't had a fish. But you know, funnily enough, I was looking at Facebook last night, and somebody had put a post on one of the Facebook groups about, you know, difficult waters and how do you deal with them and how do you cope with them. And somebody added a comment saying you have to learn to deal with blanks, and I couldn't put it better myself. You know, if you think about it, last year, yeah, all right, it was a new lake for me last year, and it did take me a while to get into it, and I've learnt a lot, and all that I'm putting into this year. But every time I got in that van last year, 1 out of 7, I would have caught a fish. And when that becomes a pattern for a while, you know, a lot of people think, no, I'm not doing that to myself. But if you can say, well, it is what it is. If you take it, like the spectrum of your season, at some points in that spectrum you're going to have a fish, you're going to get one, and it's a brilliant feeling catching a fish out of that lake. But if you kind of consider the blanks to be separate to the captures, then it's going to do your head in. But if you say those blanks are a part of this capture, they all come, it comes as a package, and you say, well, yeah, I might not get one this time, but I might see something, I might find a little spot, I might see somebody else have one, I might see somebody else do something, you thought, God, he's had one doing that, has he? You know, all these little things you put into your fishing, and eventually, you know, you come out the end of it better. You know, it is horrible going to a lake and thinking, oh God, chances are I'm not going to get one, but at the end of the day, when you do catch a fish from a lake like that, it's like the best feeling ever. You know, I was on Manton, Northern Lincolnshire Manton, my last syndicate before this one, and if I'm honest, I got in the van and I just thought, I'm having one. I'm having one today. It's going to happen tonight. I'm going to have one, and 9 times out of 10,
once I got into grips with the lake, I did, you know what I mean? And I'm not being a clever clogs here, but I think there was only two of the big, you know, the A team, for want of a better expression. I think there was only two of them I didn't have. I really got into that lake, and I kind of got with it. That's never going to happen with Girton, because Girton is a completely different kettle of fish to what Manton was, and you have to change your thought process to think, chances are I'm going to blank, but over this season I'm going to nail a couple. It is going to happen, you know. If you get that into your head, then you can deal with fishing lakes like that. I have fished one other lake that was probably as difficult as Girton. That was a good few years ago, and I was not a very experienced angler. So yeah, it's, you know, you're going to probably see, I'm going to do a video diary across this season. You're going to probably see a lot of blanks, but in reality, fishing a place like that, they come with the territory. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to continue until one of them big uns is in my landing net.